and we're all going to drop in our audio, and we're going to try to do something collaboratively that doesn't sound like shit, right? That's the idea anyways. So everybody's going to get one track, and then they're allowed to put whatever they want on that one track. I still haven't decided if maybe nobody can edit your track, only you can edit your track, so that we get like some level of sanity going on. Everyone dips drums. Can you upload free VSTs? No, you can't upload VSTs. There's no VST support because I actually figured this out the other day, what the issue is with VST. VST is a wrapper, right? So imagine FL Studio is what I'm building now, but you need to have like Windows to be able to run FL Studio. Like you can't run FL Studio on a computer without Windows, right? You need Windows, and then Windows runs FL. Same thing with VST. Like you can have Serum, but like VST is like the Windows around Serum, right? So Serum itself doesn't do anything. It needs the VST around it, and VST itself needs Windows. So it needs like an operating system, because it's like the same thing with Windows regularly. It's like it expects to be able to connect to the internet. It expects to be able to connect to your hard drive. It expects a few things like a GPU, a CPU, and the same thing with VST. Like it expects to be able to access Windows or like some computer environment. Like Linux is fine as well, and so is Mac OS. But it kind of wants the access to the computer. So on a web browser, we can't provide that because Chrome is obviously aware of security risks and doesn't let the browser access your actual computer, right? It doesn't give access to your Windows. So there's no way to actually get a browser native VST running, except for there's a few people that have actually managed to do it, kinda, with like a new standard, which is called like the open web plugin standard or something like that. That can run in the audio context, and it's like a way to build to machine code, to WASM. But the thing is, plugin developers need to do that deliberately and need to want to, and usually there's no money in that. All the plugin formats that we run in our DAWs expect some level of like kernel access. So yeah, Clap is the same thing as VST. It's just implemented differently, but it still expects to be able to write and read from your disk. It expects like IO handlers that only like an operating system level thing has. Which is also, by the way, why when you run your DAWs in administrator mode, they should run a little bit better, because there is less security checks that your computer has to do about verifying each in and outgoing connection from the VST or the DAW to your computer. Host them. But technically it is possible, right? Yeah, well, if I were to rewrite the whole VST standard, I could technically make it work maybe. But the thing is, then people would like this. VST is like a build manual. And at the very end, once you've built everything for VST, you only get a VST plugin. You don't get the Clap plugin and everything automatically. You need to like deliberately make one. And because VST is supported regularly, right? Yeah, it's good. So if I were to make my own VST that works in the browser, I would need plugin manufacturers to like make a version of the plugin that is that type, right? So no VST on Chromebooks. I don't know how that works. I think Chromebook, they must have like a Windows wrapper or something, right? I don't know. You can run those in a server with Windows and make the user control it by the browser. Yeah, but that's stupid. That's stupid. Like, that's stupid. There's just so much extra work to get that running that is just absolutely not feasible for like a hobby project. So basically, plugin manufacturers could make VSTs that are browser compatible. Yes, kind of. Yes, they could, but it would take them significant amount of effort to do it. There's like a framework that people use usually to make big VSTs called Juice. You might have heard of it, and it essentially gives you like a bunch of pre-built stuff, so you don't need to worry about everything, right? It's like, hey, you want the UI, you want like to show something visually. Here's like 3 options that are like already built, and then you can just tweak them and stuff. And that Juice software, or like I think it's development kit, has support for browser working functional like plugin export, but there's, I guess, some settings that you need to set for that to be available, and then people, I guess, don't have those checked, so it's not an easy migration because the browser is less performant than your host, like DAW, right? So you can run those in a server with Windows. Oh wait, I already read that. It's so confusing because my chat on my computer and my laptop are both open, so I'm like reading this chat and I'm reading this chat. It's like the colors are different. How about reverse it? Make Mega VST for FL? I don't know how that would work. You know what would be very cool though? I mean, honestly, I kind of like the reason I'm making this DAW project is because I wanted to learn how to do certain things. And now that that I know how to make them, it's just very cool and easy. What is Mega VST? Well, it's not a thing, but I could see a world where it doesn't work. The thing is, VSTs cannot have access to your timeline, for example. Otherwise, you could have a VST and that could somehow access your timeline and shit, but you can control it. But it doesn't work. VST doesn't have timeline control. It only has signal processing, really. We could make a plugin itself that is multiplayer. And I've actually thought about doing this. We could have a plugin that like listens to Twitch commands, and then based on Twitch commands, it puts effects on my master, for example, right? Like that's possible. That's totally possible, and it shouldn't be that difficult even. But yeah, what about let the user open the VST in a window with the browser somehow and refresh the audio in real time with delay to save resource. User open the VST, open in a window browser. Yeah, I've thought about this a lot, Alan. I don't know if that's possible. The smartest way is to run it on a dedicated machine and then have a socket connection or TCP connection or something that just forwards the audio, and you get a visual UI that you can click on and stuff, which is just like on the machine itself. That's the only real way to do it, because it needs to be real time. And so it needs to be doing audio processing, but it's just not feasible for a multiplayer thing. I've checked. And the thing is, the point of this thing is not to make a DAW in the browser. It's to make a sampler in the browser. I want to make a sampler where you can just like edit audio. That's, I think, what we're going to be able to do. And just like with nice wrapping, right? So for example, there's things to think about. For example, what happens when you add a file to the timeline, right? Like you will see that it has the peaks of the audio. Like I can just now, based on this, I can find the drop and I can find everything, right? This is probably where the drop is. Yeah, so these need to be computed from the actual audio file. How does that happen, right? And I did it very cleverly, doing most of the effort like on a separate thread, which is like only really a workaround, because technically browsers only have one thread on your CPU, or like each window does or whatever. So if you process on one window, but on the same window you do like heavy processing calculation of stuff, then the window freezes because it's like CPU busy, I can't show you what's happening on the website. You need to like make workers that are doing things in the background and then giving it back to, it's just a mess, but it works. Wait, is it possible to add the EQ you made for submissions to Mega? Yes, that is definitely possible, yes, and I am intending to do so. They can use their VSTs installed on Windows and the web just refreshes the audio in real time, but I don't know. Yeah, that's cool. So what we could do, you could do something like having like two VSTs. You need two VST plugins that you could put into your host. I can actually show you the demonstration. I thought about this as well because it's very, very cool. So what you could do, imagine the following, right? On the website, you have a button, right? And this button would say like copy channel ID or something, or link, right? You click it, and then in your FL Studio, what you would have is you would have one plugin, right? Which is like the, rename it. So this is like Mega Audio Input, right? So this is kind of like it receives from the internet, it receives audio. Then you put your effects, right? Like this. And then you have another one, which would be your out, right? So this would be Mega Audio Output, right? And if you had both of these set up, it would just stream the audio in from the website, go through your effect, stream it back out, right? That would be totally possible. It's just stupid. That is so much extra work and synchronization that needs to happen for this to make sense. And the main problem that's happening is, yes, this works for you. It works one time, but what happens if other people play stuff as well? They need to hear your effects as well. What do you do? Essentially, what you would need to do is you would need to play it once, cache the result, give that result to everybody else as a playback audio. But it's just the way that it just wouldn't work, really. I don't think it would work. It would work just for you, but it wouldn't work for multiple people because, yeah, it just wouldn't. And also, why would you do this if you could just do it in the DAW, right? Like, this is kind of stupid. It's counterintuitive. No, I think it makes sense. Like, if you have one user, they only need to hear their sound. So when they play their sound, they can send it through their own FL Studio and back, and it's fine. But if they're not playing sound, but somebody else is also on the website, how are they going to get the effects that the other person has on their channel without playing it through their thing as well? And then this person do they hear it? How would that, like, it just doesn't work. It makes sense, but it's too much data transfer. No, it would be fine. For one person, it would be fine. It would just be like a continuous audio stream. Like, you get that from Spotify all the time. Okay, everybody, that's it for me today. Thank you very much. I'm gonna attempt to finish that that website the next few days, and then maybe Friday we'll be able to actually test it out and do a mega collab for real. But I think it should be fine. I need to make buttons that do download everything on the timeline except for your stuff. And then I need to make a button that downloads everything as well. That would be cool because then you can like, what if the audio was serialized? So person 1, then person 2 etc. That still wouldn't work because there is multiple people having playback at different times. So let me show you this. This is person 1, this is person 2. Oh God. Anyways, right? We have these 2 people. This is one playhead, but this playhead isn't moving. This is at a completely different position and can also play, but at a different position. The playing position isn't synced. So when this one needs audio to go through the master, this one might be at a different position. So it doesn't work, right? Does that make sense? That's why it doesn't work for multiplayer. It works for a single. For a single user, it works fine, right? Because they can just send all of their audio through your FL and back and then play it onto you. But if you have multiple people at different stages in the project playing at the same time, which is possible, it doesn't work. But if the browser does the audio, right? Also, isn't that crazy that like it updates on both? You would hear it just in the browser that's playing, right? Which I can't verify, but still. And both can play at the same time without technically like interfering with the other one, because all the like audio processing is done per client and it needs to be done like that. Yeah, I've thought about this, trust me. But it's a good call. It's a good idea. I didn't actually think about doing it serialized, but I don't think it changes anything. Did we play balls already? We did, Tier War. Next stream is Friday? Yes, Friday we're going to hopefully try this out. If it doesn't work, we'll just do a regular one, but I think we will definitely try, and if we fail, we'll do a regular like multiplayer. All right, ladies and gents, take care. See you very soon. Good night. Bye-bye. What are you still doing here? I wonder if anybody's still here. Xerox is probably still here, right? Hey, Larian, Xerox. I knew it. Special shout out to you guys. I don't know. You're probably doing something on the side, right? Counter-Strike round wasn't over yet, so you're just chilling. Thank you guys for watching. Bye now, though. Bye. Bye-bye. Wait. Larian, you're coding? What are you coding? Messing with the Megador? You're on the old version. The old version is still on the website. God, that chat. Lovely. Absolutely lovely. I'm a software engineer, music on the side. You don't happen to need somebody in your team that's really good at like Vue front-end full stack development, right? I don't even know what you do with your company. I need a job. Working for a bank at the moment. Damn. I just know that banks like a lot of tests. Old school language like COBOL. Ah, that's crazy. Bro, the FL Studio code base is written in Pascal in Delphi. Oh, and they said they're actually struggling to get new developers because nobody fucking knows how to code that shit. It's true. We had a Discord call with the lead developer. I don't think he's the lead developer. He's one of the big developers from FL Studio. And yeah, they talked a little bit. All right, that's it. Bye now. Bye now. Bye now. One day I want to postulate at FL. What is postulate? That work? Nice. I don't want to work at FL. That seems like pain. It seems like pain. Like you work so hard on a thing and then people use the auto-generate beat function. It's just like, why? Why are you like this, people? Can we get Suno in FL? All right. Bye now.